Hello, grade 3rd learners. Are you ready for another exciting learning session? I'm Charmaine M. Obispo from Sotero Francisco Memorial National High School, and I'll be guiding you today in your journey in learning English as you study at home. Please prepare your pens, notebooks, and modules as you watch this program and set an expectation that you'll learn something new today. Before we proceed, let us first check who's with us today. Type the acronym of your school dash your section, just like what you see on the screen. And now, sit back, relax, and enjoy learning. Let's get started. For today's session, we will be focusing on this most essential learning competency, delivering a self-composed speech using all the needed speech convention. To be specific, you will use the appropriate prosodic features of speech like pitch, stress, juncture, volume, projection, intonation, and speech rate. We will also use the alternative delivery modes module on prosodic features of speech prepared by Ma'am Catherine G. Degula from Parada National High School. Now let's find out how much you know about prosodic features of speech. Choose the letter that you think best answers the question. You have 5 seconds to key in your answers in the comment box. Which of the following is most similar to the word stress? A. Inflection. B. Punctuation. C. Emotion. D. Alphabet. Number 2. Which of the following statements is a nearly universal rule of word stress? A. Stress occurs on vowel sounds. B. All multisyllabic words have 2 primary syllables that are stressed. C. Nouns and adjectives are always stressed differently. Letter D. Verbs never contain a stressed syllable. Number 3. In English, the placement of stress in 2-syllable words is most often defined by what? A. The prefix of that word. B. Whether the word is a noun, adjective, or verb. C. The placement of the accent mark. D. Whether the root word is Latin or Germanic. Number 4. Which words in a sentence are usually stressed? A. Structure words. B. Content words. C. Linking verbs. D. Main verbs. Number 5. Which words carry little meaning but make a sentence grammatically correct? A. Content words. B. Main verbs. C. Structure words. And D. Linking verbs. Now let's check your answers. For number 1, A. Inflection. 2. A. Stress occurs on a vowel. Number 3. B. Whether the word is a noun, adjective, or verb. Number 4, B. Content words. And number 5, C. Structure words. I hope that you got the answers correctly. If not, don't worry. We'll go over these concepts again during our discussion. Now, in the previous lessons, you've learned about composing effective paragraphs. You were taught how you can gather information and organize them logically. Develop paragraphs that illustrate different text types, such as expository and persuasive text. Step by step, you were guided by your teachers through the following lessons, so that by this time, you can be able to deliver your self-composed speech. To make your speech delivery more effective, you should use different elements in speech that go beyond words. They will make your speech more meaningful and expressive, thus keeping your listeners engaged. So for today's lesson, we'll talk about prosodic features of speech. I will present to you an overview of some prosodic features such as pitch, stress, juncture, volume, projection, intonation, and speech rate. However, most of today's discussion will dwell on stress and intonation. Prosody refers to a set of variables in speech that affects how a message is communicated and understood. It does not only help us differentiate questions from statements, but it also helps us recognize the speaker's emotional state and clarify communication. Think about this. When there are some mispronunciations of English sounds, it just usually leads to minor repairable misunderstandings. One can easily clarify what is really meant by the speaker. However, with elements like stress, pitch, and intonation, and connected speech, the misunderstanding may be more of a serious nature. If speakers use improper intonation contours, they can be perceived as abrupt or even rude. And if the stress and rhythm patterns sound unnatural, the speakers who produce them may not be understood at all. Now, what are the different prosodic features of speech? First, stress. It refers to the force or emphasis used in a sound, syllable, or words in comparison to other sounds, syllables, and words. Next, pitch. It's the degree of highness or lowness in a person's voice. Next, intonation. It is the rise and fall in pitch that occurs when we are speaking. Volume. It refers to the loudness of your voice. Projection refers to the strength of speaking or singing, whereby the voice is used loudly and clearly. Juncture refers to a pause or slight delay in a continuous flow of speech. Rhythm is the flow of connected speech that comes from the combination of stress words and pauses in a phrase or sentence. All of these are essential in making your speech more expressive, clear, and effective. What is stress? Stress is the prominence or importance given to certain syllables. Stress syllables are often longer, louder, and higher in pitch. There are several ways for marking stress in a written word. In the examples on this video, I will use capital letters to highlight them. This will help you visualize which syllable receives the primary stress. Now, let's find out where the stress falls in a word. Though there are no definite rules for determining which syllable of a word should be stressed, certain rules are helpful. The great majority of two-syllable words are accented or stressed on the first syllable. Listen to these examples and then repeat after me. Father, sister, wisdom, manage, doctor, flower, 15, reason, hammer, water. Next, we have compound words. They are formed when two words are combined to make a new word. Let's say the word green and the word house. Put them together and we have greenhouse, which has a completely different meaning from the two individual words where they originated. In English compound nouns, the primary stress is on the first component. Drugstore, songbird, lipstick, blackbird. Next, in the intensive reflexive pronouns, the stress falls on the last syllable. For example, himself, herself, myself, themselves. Next, for numbers ending in teen, they may receive the stress on either syllable. but it is advisable for students learning English as a second language to stress the last syllable so as to differentiate clearly. Let's compare. 15, 15, 18, 18, 19, 19. Now for words, which may be used as nouns or verbs, they have difference in stress to indicate the difference in usage. The noun is stressed on the first syllable. The verb is on the second. For examples, project, project, produce, produce, record, record. Let's have this example. The teacher records the daily attendance of the students. The record showed that the students attended the orientation program. In the first sentence, the underlined word functions as a verb, so the second syllable receives the primary stress. On the other hand, the underlined word in the second sentence is a noun. We put the emphasis or stress on the first syllable. Next, as a general rule, words containing prefixes tend to be strongly stressed on the root word or the first syllable of the base or root word, just like with the following verbs that begin with prefixes. Overlook, overtake, unleash, understand. However, some words with a prefix that function as nouns, the first syllable tends to be strongly stressed. For example, forearm, forecast, output, overdose, overpass. Next, words ending in shon, ik, ikal, and iti almost always receive the primary stress on the syllable preceding the ending. The addition of any of these suffixes may therefore result in a sheaf of stress. In short, the syllable before these suffixes receives the primary stress. Let's have this as examples. Educate, education, tranquil, tranquility, ecology, ecological. Again, when we stress a syllable in a word, this is what we do. Produce a longer vowel. Raise the pitch of the syllable to a higher level. Say the syllable louder. Pronounce it with clarity and create a more distinctive facial movement. Sentence stress is the music of spoken English. It is what gives English its rhythm or beat. Remember that word stress is accented on one syllable within a word, while sentence stress is accented on certain words within a sentence. Now, most sentences have two basic types of words: content words and function words. Content words are the key words of a sentence. They are the important words that carry the meaning or sense, or the real content. These are nouns, main verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. For function or structure words, they are not very important. They are small, simple words that make the sentence grammatically correct. They give the sentence its correct form, its structure. They are determiners, or words like a, and, the, or linking and helping verbs such as is, are, was, and where. And also prepositions like to, from, in, on, and at. In speaking, we usually put more stress or prominence on content words like nouns and verbs, and less on function words such as prepositions and linking verbs. In this example, the words in capital letters are the content words that should receive stress. Let's emphasize those words with increase in loudness. Let's read it. She went to Bohol to visit the chocolate hills. It is the one on the left, not the one on the right. There are also some circumstances wherein the speaker wants to emphasize certain words and sentences, words which they wish to highlight. To understand sentence stress or prominence, you have to recognize the most important information within a thought group. Now, let's discuss intonation. Controlling intonation is important in communication and spoken English. Now, what is intonation? Intonation is the tone of what we say. It is the rise and fall of the voice when you speak. It is closely related to stress. Intonation is one of the elements of stress, the others being loudness and length. A stressed syllable is spoken in a higher musical note than the unstressed syllable. Now, there are different intonation patterns in English. One of the most common patterns is the rising intonation. Rising intonation is typically used in asking yes-no questions. The pitch of the voice rises at the end of a sentence. For example, can I ask you a question? Do you sing? Next, we have falling intonation. It is used on declarative sentences and information questions. Declarative sentences are sentences that make a statement, provides a fact, or offers an explanation. They are normal, neutral sentences that we use all the time. Information questions are those that request details and start with words like who, what, where, when, why, and how. Let's look at the following examples. I've been teaching for 10 years. Where did you put the flash drive? Next, we use rising and falling intonation for choices, lists, unfinished thoughts, and conditional sentences. In the first example, the intonation rises on each item on the list and falls on the last item to show that the list is finished. Listen carefully. We've got apples, pears, bananas, and oranges. In conditional statements, we use the rising intonation in the first clause, then gradually shift to the falling intonation in the second clause. If you have questions, send me a message. To sum up what we have discussed today, prosody refers to the elements of speech concerned with larger units of speech such as pitch, stress, juncture, volume, projection, intonation, and speech rate. Stress is the emphasis on a given syllable or a word, while intonation is the rise and fall of the voice. The command of these features is critical in creating meaningful conversations, especially in delivering speeches more effectively. Our native language has so many differences from the sounds and rhythm of English, so appropriate control of stress and intonation is an essential part to be competent in oral communication. Now, it's time for some activity. Bring out your notebook and ballpen and let's check your understanding on our lesson. I'd like you to closely pay attention and listen carefully as I read the sentences that will be shown on your screen. In the comment section, type the underlined word wherein the syllable that receives the primary stress is in capital letters. Let's have this set of sentences as an example. Number 1. The object of the game is to destroy the enemy. B. The officials object to the proposal. For this example, the answer for letter A is object. The stress falls on the first syllable since the word is a noun. And in here, the answer in B is object. The underlined word is a verb. Therefore, the stress falls on the second syllable. Now type your answers just like what you see on the screen. Are you ready now? You have 5 seconds to type your answers in each item. So let's go. Number two, the permit was issued by the mayor. The mayor permits the COVID-19 patient to be in the facility. You have 5 seconds. And the correct answer for A is permit. For the unlearned word in sentence A is used as a noun, while B is permits, for it is a verb. Number three, the president signed the contract. The material contracts when pulled. You have 5 seconds. Go. And the correct answer for A is contract, a noun. And for B, contracts, a verb. For number four, the protest was led by prominent personalities. They protest the impending increase in fuel prices. Key in your answer. And the correct answer is A, protest, a noun. And B, protest, a verb. And that's number five. The congressman is implementing the road widening project. The new actress projects well on the screen. You have 5 seconds to type your answer. And the correct answer in A is project. And in B, it's projects. Good job, students. You did great. Remember that for words that can either be nouns or verbs, we put the stress on the first syllable to indicate nouns and put stress on the second syllable to indicate verbs. Also, take note that being able to tell the sounds and stress correctly while listening can also help you improve the way you speak. Now, a common question on delivering a speech is how we can improve our voice as we speak. It takes a lot of practice to be able to have a clear voice. It takes a lot of practice to achieve correct word and sentence stress, proper breathing, appropriate pacing, and intonation. First, you must have awareness of which part of your speech needs improvement. Delivering a speech is a skill that can be mastered when effort and practice are initiated. Your English teachers will be with you to teach you and guide you so that you can be confident once you'll have an opportunity to deliver a speech. Now that there is an ease of pandemic restrictions and that some of you have been attending face-to-face classes, please remain on following the minimum health standards. For whatever learning modality you are now, always persevere to study and learn because in that ed, in any situation, education must continue. Thank you for watching all the episodes of Valenzuela Live in English 8. Till next time, have a nice day.